Do you know why it's hard to admit that you're actually afraid? Especially creative people. Because in their mind, they've convinced themselves that being scared isn't what they are. They've convinced themselves that they're after something more perfect than what they currently have. That's why they don't want to release it. They've convinced themselves that they only have a limited number of chances, and if they blow them, they won't get any more. They've convinced themselves that where they are right now, they could be a little bit further before they do something that they've been waiting to do. They convince themselves that they might have something great, that they need to wait for the right person, the right moment, the right time. They shouldn't just put it out there. In my opinion, everything I just talked about is all fear. It's just fear driving you to prevent yourself from actually getting where you're trying to go. So if you look at fear as really what that is, not that what you're doing needs to be perfect, not that it needs to be remastered, remixed, which all could be true. But I hate to say it, there's a lot of stuff that got released and then got re-released and then re-released and then re-released, multiple versions of it. Like the song Sober by Tool, I think it was released like 3 or 4 times before the version we all know. Same thing with, and they kept playing with the timing and playing with a lot of different elements about that song. Same thing with Phil Collins' In the Air Tonight. There was multiple versions of that song released. And then the one that took off was the one we all know. This is the case with so many more songs than I just mentioned those two. There's so many like that. And years ago isn't today. In other words, years ago, radio stations meant something. Today, everyone listens to Spotify or YouTube for music or some other streaming service. Another thing people do today is nobody watches TV. Whereas you used to be able to like get on a late night show and then everyone would know who you are the next day. Who watches TV anymore? Nobody watches TV. So today people are on Netflix, they're on YouTube via, their Prime Video stuff. Like that's what they're doing. So even getting a spot on a TV show, I would venture to say it's not even going to do anything for you unless you follow it up with content before and content after, because that's the thing. And everybody tries to shy away from what it is, but it's like if you're trying to get somewhere, what makes you think it's right through the door? What makes you think you don't have to climb a mountain to get to the door to then go through it? You do. And you've always had to, except back then it was even harder to get through that door. And people would have to like open it for you. They'd have to have the key at the top of the mountain. You'd still have to climb the mountain. But then if you got lucky enough, someone would have the key to open it. Whereas now you got your own key. You just got to take it with you, put it in your pocket and climb the mountain. And you keep climbing until you get to the top and then there's the door. But that climb is the thing nobody wants to do. It's the hard work. It's the everyday something, a video something every day. That's you putting in your dues and climbing the mountain. I spoke to somebody about this recently. They're like, why you tell people this? It's basically, you're adding more competition for yourself out there. Yeah, because I'm not scared that there's going to be another one of me coming along, because there might be, but you can't be afraid of stuff your whole life, living in the fear and holding back all the stuff that you know to be true. In other words, every time I give a tip on how to mix a song or a special production tip or something that goes along with things I've learned after all the years that I put in, if I know how to do something a certain way and I don't tell everyone, that's me saving it for myself. I've got the answer, this cool thing, and I don't want other people to do it, so I'm not going to tell anyone. In my opinion, you come to watch what I'm doing because I give you everything I know. That's what brings you here. That other people aren't doing that tip or talking about whatever, so you're not, you have to come here for it. That's the point. It's the same with you. You have something to bring to the table. Your art, your creativity, your something is different than everybody else's. By you thinking you have a limited amount of chances. You're basically preventing yourself from ever really trying. In other words, how long are you going to wait? You're going to wait till it's over? You're going to wait till you've passed the point of being able to even do anything? You're going to keep it to yourself in your own room, in your own house? Like, what are you doing? Give it away. And the answer for what am I going to do when I run out of stuff? Create more stuff. That's what you're going to do. Because if you're truly a creative person, then you need to love what you're doing so much that that's all you want to do is keep creating stuff every day. If you have put in enough of the work, in other words, can you look in the mirror and say you've really tried as hard as you can? Or can you look in the mirror and say, well, I searched for somebody to find me and nobody found me, so I didn't win. If you're comfortable saying that, you might as well just stop doing what you're doing right now, because no one's going to find you. You get yourself found. That's what you do. The people who actually get there, they get lucky, but they put themselves in a position to get lucky. I've talked about it before, and it's the bottom line. It's the backbone to everything I talk about, and it drives me. It's why I try to always make my ears better. I'm always like trying to learn new plugins, new things, new ways of doing things, looking up ways that guys I admire and respect are mixing and doing certain things so that I can get more tools in my toolbox. That's my goal. So that and teaching everybody actually fulfills me in a huge way. And I think a lot of people don't realize that if you decide that you want to be a great musician, you knew that your whole life, you always wanted to be somebody who made it as being a musician, you should also realize that in order to do that, you may have to do a lot of things you don't want to do. Bottom line, that might get you to where you want, but you might have to do a lot of stuff you didn't want to do. And I gotta say, just because you think you don't want to do it doesn't mean you actually won't enjoy doing it. There's a big distinction here. A lot of people think that all they want to do is like play on stage and be known for being a great musician, great songwriter, great whatever. A lot of people think that. But I can't tell you how rewarding it is to actually help people. I never in my life thought I would enjoy making these videos where I tell everyone and explain what I've learned and help them through different times where we've all experienced the same emotions and the torment that goes on inside. It helps me to help you. I feel great about it. And I think more people, if they realize that like getting out of their comfort zone could actually make them feel better than they feel in their comfort zone. It could make them feel way better. Every time I share something with you that makes me scared to share it, like for example, the video I made the other day where I was mixing stuff in the box and I'm using headphones, and I know it probably sounds out of whack because I'm not comfortable there. I don't really know the headphones that well yet. Definitely not as well as my room and my speakers that I'm used to and like just my setup I'm used to. So because of that, I'm sitting there going, this scares me a little to put it out. Scares me a little because I'm worried, right? But I say to myself, got to do it. Because I know after having done this enough that every time I share an extra piece of some part of me that I was not comfortable, like 100% comfortable sharing, I actually feel better. I get a sense of reward that's greater. I get like more energized. I get more pumped up. Makes me want to learn more. Makes me want to go down a path that's harder. And I'm telling you, you'll experience the same thing. Stop thinking you need to be comfortable. There's a lot of things people say that I don't really agree with, like, don't be so hard on yourself. I don't agree with that. You should be hard on yourself. If you're not hard on yourself, don't expect anyone else to give you what you need, which is that, slap on the backside to keep it moving. Like, who else is going to give you that if you don't give it to yourself? Looking around for people to do that is ridiculous. You should be hard on yourself because you got to get stuff done and you got to have the work ethic to do it and you got to have the fire, the tenacity. Somebody asked a question on one of my videos. They said, so who puts the drive there? Like, how do you get the drive? If you're asking me, how do you get the drive? You give you the drive. You give it to yourself. You be hard on yourself. You don't accept yourself not, and I'm not saying just beat yourself up. A lot of people just like to talk. They like to beat themselves up. They like to just wallow in the misery and the self-pity and the wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda nonsense. You can't be wasting time and also moving forward at the same time. You have to pick one. And while you're doing that, you're not moving forward. You're choosing to do that with the time. So rather than that, even a minute of that, rather than that, just do something for forward progress. That's how you put the drive there. And trust me when I tell you, do something uncomfortable that you're not from really how you don't know if it's going to go well or not, and you don't know how people are going to take it or not. It's a little scary. You don't know how to edit video. You don't know how to film stuff. You think you're going to look stupid. You're going to look fat. You're going to look ugly. Who cares? Get uncomfortable. Do it anyway. Hit it, like hit publish, put it out, whether it's music or content or anything, a painting, do anything that's uncomfortable. And when you do, you start to give yourself the drive because that feels so good. You say to yourself, wow, I was scared and then I did it. And then it makes you want to do it again. And then that forward progress is like a ball rolling down the hill. It's like momentum. And then you ride that momentum. And once you understand, like your brain will tell you to keep going. And it's just the people who want to take it easy on themselves, who want to not go too hard on themselves. It's those people that wind up stopping. Because the ones that we can't do that. You know, I'm sick for a couple of days and all I can think of is, man, I should have had 2 videos saved up so I could have got another one done. Like just, I'm hard on myself because I have to be. Because that gets me somewhere. We're too coddled. So just realize where we're at. Just get it done. All right? Be uncomfortable. We're creating over here. We're creative people. So that means if we don't put ourselves through really pushing and pushing and pushing, we will just take it easy. I think that's built into all of our DNA. You know, we think we're doing a lot when we're not doing that much. That's just part of it. And I could talk like this because I'm that way. You know, I need to force myself to do more because otherwise, you know, I'll mix one song and think I'm done for the day. Can't do any more. Unless I tell myself I can. You're just telling yourself. You're writing your own journey in the book. You're writing every chapter every day. So when you think to yourself, don't want to be hard on yourself, think that. And stop with the mental health stuff. I mean, it's so funny to me when people think, you know, you're not considering mental health. You're not considering this or that. Yes, I am. Do you know how mentally depressive it makes you when you don't live up to your potential? That's the ultimate mental health disaster. That, not living up to your potential. Anything else is good. So if, in other words, what makes you think by taking it easy on yourself and not doing more, not pushing yourself, what makes you think that that doesn't directly lead to one day you didn't get where you were going and now what? You don't realize the mental health collapse starts as soon as you realize that? That's where it starts, when you don't get where you're going. So in order to actually give yourself a chance, keep doing, do it the next day, Kobe Bryant style. Keep it moving. Work harder than the next guy. That's the way to win. It's the only way. And then you won't have the mental health collapse. You won't. Trust me, you won't. Because that's the thing. It's like, I know everybody's different, and I know some people can handle more than others, but the people that give themselves the excuses are the ones that have failed before they even start. It's like when I'm hanging out with friends and we're jamming and stuff, and some of the people need a break. A break from what? We're not digging ditches. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, we got this. You got this. Keep that in mind. You know, I think everybody takes it super easy on themselves, and they don't need to. Not doing what we're doing. Do more. And this is the other thing. You can get stuff done. You could do more when you have a filter that allows for more. In other words, allow for more mistakes. Allow for more humanity. Allow for more realism of who you are. Because I also venture to say, and I've told this to a lot of people, that when people get to know you, that's when they start to like you and appreciate your music. If they can't get to know you, your music's got no shot, because the chances of you having a great song and now everyone likes you, it's not the case now, and it really never was the case. It was the case when you had one place, like a radio station, playing a limited amount of songs, and that was the only place you could really get your music. Then maybe it was the case. But we don't live in that time. Nobody watches TV. No one's showing up to concerts in droves seeing new bands. They live on their phone. And if they're on their phone and they see somebody they want to hear more from, they like your personality, they like who you are, they see you are a real person, not faking, not BSing, not coming at them with tons of nonsense that they don't care about. If they see there's somebody there who's a real person, flaws and all, humanity is what they're looking for. They find that, they might actually care about your music. That's how I look at it. And honestly, I know plenty of people who would rather pay for like playlists and spot placements and stuff. They'd rather pay for fake likes, fake subscribers, fake followers. They'd rather pay for that than to actually just be real on a daily basis. Anything scares them more. Like, I mean, they're terrified. There's nothing that scares them more. I mean, they're terrified, absolutely batshit crazy, from people telling them, hey, you should be yourself every day. Show people who you are. That scares them like there's no tomorrow. And it's funny to me. It's almost funny to me, because the thing that scares you most is often the thing you need to conquer to push through it, to actually get to the other side of wherever you're trying to go in anything. The thing that you're scared of most is probably the thing you should be doing. So I'll leave you with that. All right. I hope this helped somebody. If it helped anyone, it makes me feel great. So thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hit the like button. Talk to you guys soon. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Take it easy.